Have you ever tried to control a relationship without realizing you were doing it? Maybe you told yourself it was just caring. Maybe you said things like, "I just want the best for them," or "I'm only saying this because I love you." But somewhere in the middle of all that care and love, something strange started happening. You began trying to control things that were never meant to be controlled. Their choices, their behavior, their reactions, even their feelings. And the more you tried to control it, the more everything seemed to fall apart. Welcome to one of the most common but rarely discussed problems in relationships, the illusion of control. Let's start with a simple truth. Humans love control. We control our alarms, we control our schedules, we control what we eat, what we watch, and even how our phone notifications behave. Life feels easier when things are predictable. But relationships? Relationships are like trying to control the weather with a TV remote. You can press all the buttons you want, but the rain is still coming. Now imagine this situation. You send a message to someone you love, and then you wait. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, still no reply. Suddenly your brain starts running a full investigation. Why haven't they replied? Did I say something wrong? Are they ignoring me? You check their online status. You check their last scene. You even reread your message like a detective analyzing evidence. At this point, you're not just waiting for a reply. You're trying to control the meaning of their silence. But here's the truth. Sometimes silence just means they're busy. Shocking, right? The illusion of control often begins with good intentions. For example, someone might say, "I just want you to be safe," which sounds loving, but sometimes that turns into things like, "Don't go there," "Don't talk to them," "Don't wear that," "Don't post that." Suddenly, the relationship starts feeling less like love and more like a list of rules. And the strange thing is, the person making the rules often believes they're protecting the relationship, but in reality, they're slowly suffocating it. Here's a funny example. Imagine someone saying, "You can hang out with your friends, but just text me every 10 minutes so I know what's happening." At that point, it's not hanging out, it's basically live broadcasting your life. You might as well wear a GoPro camera and stream your evening. Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's episode of Proving I'm Not Doing Anything Wrong. That's the illusion of control, trying to monitor everything so nothing unexpected happens. But relationships don't work like security cameras. People need space to breathe. Another place where control shows up is expectations. You expect your partner to react a certain way, to think a certain way, to prioritize things exactly like you do. For example, you might think, if they really loved me, they would do this. But the other person might be thinking, if they trusted me, they wouldn't expect that. And suddenly, both people are trying to control the relationship from different directions, like two people steering the same car. Spoiler alert, that car is definitely going into a ditch. One of the biggest illusions in relationships is believing we can control someone's feelings. You might try to make someone love you more. You might try to prevent them from being upset. You might try to avoid any situation where they could lose interest. But emotions don't follow instructions. You can't open someone's brain settings and click "Increase love by 25%. Trust me, if that feature existed, relationships would look very different. And here's the ironic part. The more someone tries to control a relationship, the less control they actually have, because control creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance, and resistance slowly turns into distance. It's like holding sand in your hand. If you hold it gently, it stays, but if you squeeze too tight, it slips right through your fingers. Now, let's talk about something many people won't admit. Control often comes from fear. Fear of losing someone, fear of being replaced, fear of not being enough. When someone feels insecure, their brain tries to reduce uncertainty, so it starts creating rules, monitoring behavior, overthinking every small change. But instead of creating security, it creates tension, and relationships built on tension rarely last long. There's also another subtle form of control that looks very harmless: emotional testing.
You know the kind. Let's see if they notice I'm upset. I won't text first and see if they care. I'll act distant and see how they react. At first, it feels clever, like you're running a secret experiment. But relationships aren't science labs, and people aren't mind readers. Sometimes the other person doesn't notice the test at all, and suddenly you're sitting there thinking, wow, they didn't even care. Meanwhile, they're just living their life normally. That's the illusion again, trying to monitor everything so nothing unexpected happens. But healthy relationships work very differently. They are not about controlling each other. They are about understanding each other. Not about monitoring behavior, but about trusting intentions. When trust exists, control becomes unnecessary because both people feel safe enough to be themselves, and that's something control can never achieve. Think about it like this. A relationship is not a puppet show. You don't get to pull the strings and decide how the other person moves. It's more like a dance. Both people move freely, sometimes perfectly in sync, sometimes stepping on each other's toes. But the dance only works when both people have space to move. If one person tries to control every step, the dance stops being fun. It becomes exhausting. Now, here's the interesting part. When people let go of control, something surprising often happens. The relationship becomes stronger. Conversations become more honest. People feel less pressure. And, ironically, the trust that grows creates more stability than control could ever achieve. Because love that is freely chosen is always stronger than love that feels managed. So, the next time you feel the urge to control something in your relationship, pause for a second and ask yourself a simple question. Am I trying to control this because I love them or because I'm afraid? That one question can change everything, because